one that both occurred in '06. I remember those were the same year.
I'd like to call the August 30th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting for Dalton Township to order. First, we will have roll call. Dave, I am here. Jesse is excused. Nick? Here. Lee? Here. John? Here. Casey?
Here.
And Todd?
Here.
All right. And is there anything to add to the agenda?
No.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support. I'm going to give it a tie.
I heard his S first. So.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and approval of the minutes from the July 26th meeting, and then also resolution SU 22-05. I don't think there's anything in that that appeared to be out of.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from July 26, 2022.
Support? Support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Support. All right, next up we have public comment, which we have public here tonight. So we have three minutes if anyone would like to.
I'm gonna go over there with my motion this one.
I can come later.
You can come with.
I got my own 3 minutes.
I'm sorry. My name is Elizabeth Lemoyne. I'm the chairman of the Planning Commission of the Village of Lakewood Club. And two things. One is for those of you who may not know, several of us from the Planning Commission have come here tonight simply because we finished taking a class on how to be better commissioners. And so one of the things I thought of doing was going around to different municipalities close to us and just getting more educated, getting to know what you guys are doing since we're across the fence from each other. The other thing I want to mention is I was looking at your master plan, and as I was looking at it, which, by the way, it's beautiful. It's really nice master plan. But what I was noticing in the future land use plan and the future land use map, okay? I noticed what it said was the medium density residential designation in sections 4, 7, and 8. Now Lakewood is 5 and 6, so 4, 7, and 8 are what Huggins, okay? Which you can see on the map there in the upper left-hand corner. Those sections are allowed for the development of manufactured home communities, which has begun. Okay, we have some already being put in there. What I noticed from your future land use map is that, unless somebody can correct me, so I may have it wrong, but it looks to me like your goal is to ultimately work at increasing that down to Michelanda Road. Okay? If you were to increase this down to Michelanda Road, which I think your map actually shows that here, okay? If you take Lakewood, and Lakewood is developed right here, this is pretty much our concentration of people. If you develop all of this and all of this, now what is there in brown is already there. But if you look at all this, okay, that's your proposed future plan. What we're doing is, among other things, we are concerned with a couple of things in your plan of doing it that way. And one would be with that many people, our infrastructure, okay? What we've noticed is, for instance, in this particular summer, our parks have had a lot of vandalism, and we've been dealing with it. Okay? And the vandalism, what they've noticed is when they catch these people, unfortunately, a lot of them are not Lakewood people. They're people around Lakewood. I don't know why, but they come in and decide to do this. Point being, it will increase crime. We're already struggling with that, and we're actually looking at the possibility of police, our own police. But in the meantime, that's a problem. Another problem is using our public facilities. Okay, just for instance, if we've got a park, okay, and our park, it's a pretty nice park, I'm pretty proud of it. It takes up all this area right in here. But if all these people were to use just that park, it overloads our park. If you were to put parks in here, plan on parks there for those people, it'd take the pressure off us. And then the third thing, and probably the most important thing, is groundwater. Okay, I am currently on my own doing a study with the Cooperative Lakes Monitoring Program to check Fox Lake, because it's looking like it might be too polluted. We don't know what from, but it's just acting funny. You know, too much muck, too much whatever, okay? And because of that, I'm doing studies through Michigan State to watch what it's doing. And one of the things we know from Fox Lake is it's a lake that doesn't get any, what's the term, Randy? Doesn't have any water coming into it.
Surface water coming into it other than immediately around it.
All it is a groundwater lake. So whatever happens to groundwater happens to Fox Lake. So the more people we have, the more phosphates on the lawn, et cetera, the more it pollutes our lake. So putting a whole lot of people around there, and also the watershed, right, Randy? The watershed is mostly going to Fox Lake.
Well, I'll talk
Police
about
have
that, yeah.
Okay, only that you have. Randy's a civil engineer, he knows about water. So we are concerned with that, and so I guess my question for you folks is, when you do your study and you look at your future land use, if you could consider, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to, by law, have to have a place for manufactured housing in Dalton Township. What I'm wondering is, could you minimize what you're doing around Lakewood? Or can you, if you have to have that much, could you consider some other things? So that's my presentation. So now I'll leave it to my husband who
Thank you so much.
to it.
My name's Randall Lemoyne. I was a licensed professional civil engineer. I'm retired now, so I let my license lapse. But I spent 23 years working for the city of Grand Rapids, and of that 23, 15 was in administering their stormwater management program. After I left the city of Grand Rapids, I went down to Fort Benning, Georgia, and I worked down there. While working down there, I was put on a team of engineers and scientists with the Army Corps of Engineers, and we developed the design guides for low-impact development for the Army. So that's my background. I know hydrology, I know hydraulics, and so on. Our northern Dalton Township, and it goes into Fruitland Township, that area is a very unique area in that there are very few, if any, creeks or streams, even ditches. And the reason is that we have very, very sandy soil. It's porous. And because we still have a high groundwater table, I suspect, I don't have the data to know for sure, but I suspect there's somewhere down there is a impervious layer. It might be rock, it might be a clay layer, but it's all like a big bowl and holding it. Well, right now, the wooded area works very well with that because the trees, one is when it rains, they have a lot of contact surface areas. The water is absorbed. It just sticks on the leaves and it will evaporate shortly after it falls. Also, the deep root system, it takes up the water and evaporates it into the air. What we're seeing when you have medium density development, like what we're having going on right now around there, is that a lot of those trees are removed. They're then replaced by only a few landscaping trees, but they don't function as well. And the lawns don't do the job that the natural land does. Also, when you put in a lawn, the people grade it so there's no depressions or anything for the water to set to have time to soak in. So I'm concerned that it will concentrate water in places we're going to start seeing flooding. And because of our topography, we don't have any drainage system to solve that flooding problem. And then the second thing is the groundwater. Because the water just sets right there, anything that soaks into that groundwater is going to potentially cause a serious problem. And lawns, because people have a tendency to over-fertilize, over-pesticize, herbicide it, can be a real problem. And so I don't have all the solutions, but I want everybody to be aware. We have a very unique place that we need to try to preserve, and because we depend on the drinking water. We drink out of it. That's it.
Thank you. I know we just had brought something in, we had an issue with a couple of homes where we had water going from one house into the property of another.
Okay.
So we had I can't remember the exact terminology on there, but it was basically the water's on your property, you can't shed it to someone else's.
Yep.
So there's a way that we've worked that into there, where the responsibility is of the person who's sending the water to do something with it, rather than the person who receives it to have to figure something out.
There's a concept that's part of the low-impact development. But basically, they set the thing is that what they refer to as an 85th percentile rain has to be retained within the project limits. And then only after you've exceeded that, then you're allowed to discharge. And that's what I work with the Army.
We're like I said, this is probably like yourselves, we are, obviously this isn't our full-time job. This is something we all have been learning as we go along, so I appreciate the information you're sharing with us, because it's something we can bring forward. Having looked around when you asked the question about the master plan, realizing I was here last time, we'll probably have an idea as to how to get this going again. Whether we use the same company or not, at least we have a pretty good starting point.
And I'd be willing, if you want to call on me, I'm willing to come in and help you with it at any time. So my name is Randall Lemoyne, and my phone number is area code 231-893-2512. Now we screen our calls, so just leave a message.
Well, if Dave calls you, you might not want to call back.
I do have an Amway business I'd like to turn on.
No, I personally appreciate all that information. And when you mentioned vandalism, I can probably pick out the kids because I probably worked with them when they were in high school. So.
And I offer my services as a citizen of the township. So, you know, I'm retired, I used to charge for these kind of services, but I don't. So, I'm glad to be able to be available
No.
and serve you.
Correct. We are all residents of Dalton Township,
Correct.
legally,
Correct.
right?
So you will get information when you see that coming forward. You can, however we're going to do this process, it might just be a review of it again, whether we see public info. We always tend to seek, obviously that's part of the process, to see when things change, but to make them current in the future plan.
We are currently reviewing ours. Ours was 2015, and we're 2 years late, so but we are currently starting to review ours. And I see where state, okay, we're using the how to review a master plan through the Michigan State Citizen Planner. It is so good.
Did you have classes down in Ottawa County? Is that the one you
I've been there. I had, the village sent me down there, yes.
If If you get a chance to go to those are always very, very well done. And the people that teach it are instructors in it, and then that's their specialty.
Yes, and I went to a long one, like, I think it was like 6 weeks. You know, 3 hours once a week,
You know,
up in Hart, with people from all over several counties. And you act out things in Spartyville and the whole bit. But it was so thorough. And what I noticed is, and I did it in 2015, but once you take the classes, then you're free to have access to the videos.
yeah.
And so what I did was I was gonna show these folks, because they're new to the planning commission, some of them, you know, how to be a better commissioner. And in the process, I realized the state is so on top of it. They update those all the time. I didn't realize that. I mean, they're really updated and, I mean, really current, as well as wonderful references.
A lot of the things that have happened with farming in recent times, they were right on top of it as to having a class available almost immediately, because it was, everybody was saying, well, how do we do this? How do we, the proper process?
Yes, I mean, so many times commissioner is brand new, you know, they're always turning over. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, I will, at 6:15, I will close public hearing, public comment. We have nothing for public hearing today. There are some communications in there from the township board meeting minutes, and then also from the MSU extension email. And we will move on to the unfinished business for the SU 22-06 solar array at 3224 East Tyler Road. I imagine that's why you were perfect. When you came in, I was going, I'm not in favor of that. All right, we'll give you a chance to speak. Looks like a lot of the stuff came in. We did get the environmental, which we were waiting for the last time.
Okay, perfect.
I got a lot of things here, but we'd love to hear.
Did you need anything else from me?
I don't think so. I think we have quite a bit. We had a lot last time, but we
Yeah.
just needed.
An actual person.
Yes, exactly. That helps a lot.
It's been a fun drive over. So I believe this is a variance for a placement of a solar array. To speak on the record, I'm a permit coordinator for Peak Energy. So normally I live in Grand Rapids, but I commute from the Troy area because we had to gather all this stuff for this specific hearing. So I may be a little disheveled. If you have anything, I would have to refer to the material.
Okay.
But essentially, it's just, we needed permission with the township to essentially get a solar array put up at one of our clients' homes. I believe that we have not installed, and we are awaiting just approval from you.
We tabled it at the last meeting. They didn't have there was, I think, the conservation district, we didn't have that report. That was one of the requirements from that. I think that was the only thing we needed.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I just started with the company about 6 months ago. The project's been ongoing for a while, but my previous employer was the EPA, and it was interesting. I had to do this study, and I didn't even know that it was for this particular facility. Yeah, because I believe it's in like DNR land, or close to DNR land. Yeah, that was very intriguing to me. But I believe with the install, we're only trenching on his property. We're not trenching anywhere near DNR land. I'm respectful in that sense. And I believe we're keeping it under 500 feet and above that 42. We're not going down, we wrap everything in conduit. So let me go back to the plan. I believe we're going under his driveway, if I'm not mistaken, to get into the, I believe so. I have my iPad. Again, I apologize, I'm a little disheveled.
That's okay, we looked at this ad nauseum, so
Okay.
we really don't need anything else from
Okay,
you.
I just wanted to make sure. It's kind of one of those things, so I started with them 6 months ago, and we have like 45 different solar arrays going to DNR property, and they had no idea what to do. So they brought me in, and first you have to do an environmental impact study. Let's make sure we're not destroying the environment or any other watersheds, and here we are. So you guys will probably see me 2 more times, because I do have another project. Yeah.
Within all the setbacks, everything fits for we've been seeing quite a few of these. In fact, the last meeting, we had another one, we had two of them that came up, so.
I think those are the ones that I'm supposed to come back for.
Okay.
Am I not mistaken?
I'm not sure.
No, we approved it.
Okay, good. Because I have a couple, so I've been like Muskegon County, and I've been doing, obviously, Kent, Ottawa, Berrien, all the way up to Lake County. My specialty is just kind of making sure we're not destroying the world and violating permit laws.
We don't want to approve anything that does that. So I
Correct.
appreciate it.
Correct. And they give me great resources, obviously. We have Aurora, which is a fantastic program. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I heard him speaking on some of the watershed issues you guys are having. But Aurora is a great program because it has very good topographical data, which provides a good picture as to what can happen when you put a project in place. Something to think about.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you so much. I think we have everything we needed here. Once we got that back page and we have a face to put to the project, at least someone to represent that, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
And do you guys have any questions?
What was your name?
Eric Miller.
Eric. Thank you.
I think we're all set. We'll just-
Am I free to go?
Yep, you're.
I don't want to.
Yeah, just need to make a motion or
Yep.
something.
Yeah, I think that was what I was supposed to wait for is the motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve SU 22-06, the solar array at 3224 East Tyler.
Support.
All right. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote. Dave, yes. Nick?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes,
And Todd?
Yes.
All right.
there you go.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
All right. We have no new business. And at this point, at 6:20,
Did we, go back on the agenda, did we, resolution SU 2205, did we finish that?
It was just the meeting minutes.
yeah, I have meeting
Oh,
minutes.
minutes.
Just do the meeting minutes?
Okay.
Okay, so we will need a resolution, or
Oh,
a
good catch.
motion for resolution SU 2205.
Oh, that would, back in a minute. I make a motion to approve resolution SU 2205.
Do you have support?
Support.
Got me off guard. All right, I think we'll take a roll call on that. Dave, yes? Nick?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Casey?
Yes,
And Todd?
Yes.
All right.
All right, catch you soon, Michelle.
I appreciate that. That's why we have you here. Keep me on my toes. Appreciate it. All right. We are new business. I don't think we have any new business.
Yeah, that's-
Do you want to do this under new business?
Up to, I would leave it up to you and Steve, however you want to coordinate. If you want to have more of a discussion or.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you just made new business, so. All right, what can we help you with?
I think they're good. I think they're good.
Okay, I didn't know if there was anything,
The only request I had was when you look over your future land use, if you could consider what we can do, what you can help us with, to not overpopulate the Lakewood area
okay.
and overload us where we can't handle that many people.
And look at Football Park.
We need to
Park
put in
areas.
parks, yes.
Parks and Rec areas, yeah.
Yep,
That's actually in the master plan. If you look at the master plan was actually, there's a section in there, the Parks and Rec section. There's actually another, there's the master plan and there's a Parks and Rec.
did you happen to know yourself, I didn't look at that park.
We
Is
there's
there parks in there?
several.
I don't know if there's targeted those
Well,
specific
Yeah,
spaces.
parks are very theoretical in Dalton Township because we can't afford them
Yes.
at the moment.
We probably should have some, but
Yeah.
there's one on Catalpa up here, and then this whole area is the horse trail. So
Well,
that,
I'll have to go look at that.
yeah, that entire thing.
All right.
There's obviously, there's the bike trail that runs through, and we got one on the south side of Catalpa and Duff Field over on Duff over there, and then Eagle Field down here on Tyler. So we got the two cemeteries. But yeah, up in this area, we have the horse trail here, and then, yeah, people go to the cemeteries to do drugs and whatnot, they kind of, and walk their dogs.
Talking the truth.
All sorts of stuff. And so Catalpa and the horse trail are the two that are closest to the village. as far as parking.
That's where the Catalpa's was at, up over there?
I'm Goose Egg Lake.
Yeah, that's way up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was its own, there is actually a separate, there is the master plan, and then there is another section that is the
Yes,
parks and rec.
yeah.
And that one, as they've said, that we really didn't have the monies at that time to really do much with it. And it was really not a lot of interest from the citizens. When you start saying, well, if there would be additional cost, everybody went,
Oh, sure.
we're good with what we have. We have Twin Lake, and they start using the places that they.
And they have Lakewood Club.
We appreciate it.
Since we're on this question, I really encourage this one gentleman from Dalton Township, not in the village, to come here tonight, but I don't think he came. Do you happen to know, anyone here know anything about, right here, there's a road called Wild Rose, okay? It's approximately about right here, okay? It's one of these that go north and south. Okay. And this gentleman lives on this side, kind of where it's brown in here, right in there, somewhere right in there. He's on Dalton Township side of Lakewood Road. And he had a gentleman who was outside by his driveway, who was measuring things. And he asked them what's going on, and he said, oh, there's gonna be a big subdivision going in here. And manufactured home. And the guy goes, man, I'd like to know. I said, yeah, but you're in Dalton Township, so the village wouldn't know. So maybe you should go and ask them, do you know if there's anything being put in here? Are you putting in any roads? Any
So
roads?
I've spoken with this individual
Oh, you have?
and
Oh,
another
okay.
individual
All right.
as well. That's, as far as I'm aware, that's just a
It's in
rumor.
the theoretical
I have not
stage.
received any plans for a mobile home park.
Or
If they,
manufactured home.
yeah, and if they did, we would have to approve that
Right,
as a planning
yeah,
commission.
that's why I figured this would be, I told myself, this is the place to
Yes.
come. If it's gonna happen, you guys would know.
I do know the gentleman's looking at replatting and taking out all the road right of ways.
Oh, really? They're gonna replat that?
He's looking at taking all the road right of ways out so he can utilize all of the land. But that's just what I've been told. So
Okay.
I don't have any concrete,
So I'm learning.
what's, you know.
Why would
what's
you
going
want
on.
to take all your road right of ways out?
So other people can't go down your, the middle of your land.
Either to not develop it or to redevelop it in a different direction.
Okay. Sure, so in other words, if you want to put in a big PUD with serpentine roads and stuff, you'd have to do that?
You
Is that
would,
what you're saying?
correct. Or if you wanted to build a house right in the middle, it might be beneficial.
All right, thank you.
I have a question about your park on Fox Lake, is it? Is that maintained by Lakewood Village or, so it's unlike the county park on Twin Lake,
Correct.
where we have full-time caretakers, fences, not security, but, you know, it's,
Lakewood is the full-time caretaker of its park.
there is, okay, who lives there?
We do it, we do all of it. Our DPW takes care of the park, we hire our own park rangers. Yeah. We do have monies from where? It says in the park something about grants to help us with our serpentine road and stuff, or talk
Yeah.
about something like that, but we take care of the park.
I'm trying to think of that crime issue, you know, is it teenagers with nothing to do, run around
We
at
had
night or?
videos, a van pulled in one night, and these older teens, young adults,
Right.
6 of them or so got out, and they just tried to truly destroy the toilet. I have no idea why. They got on the roof, they destroyed the skylight, they pulled the shingles off the roof, they caved in the doors, they do whatever they can. It's like, it's got this fetish with toilets. We even have a porta potty over by the playground. It's a nice playground. They take the porta potty and dump it over,
Nice.
you know, which is silly, but okay, you stand it back up. But we're just having a lot of trouble, and so on these videos, we're trying to find out who these people are. And there are some people who say, yeah, we can identify them, but they're not coming from the village. But it's making it where people in the village are really, it's difficult for us to enjoy our park it's being vandalized all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not
And
you
the
guys'
court-
fault,
yeah, you
but,
kind of tied that into the overpopulation thing, and, you know, you don't know if they're from our township either, I
oh,
guess.
no, exactly,
So-
no, we don't know, we're just saying, it's going to bring in more crime. Crime will go up, obviously, every city deals with that, but if we could avoid it, and we don't have any police protection other than Muskegon County and the state. We're looking at it, but we're not there. So
Was it about a year ago with the vandalism, or was that just recently this past summer?
it has been going on probably for, man, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 years, long time.
Recently, it's been very.
Recently, it's increasing and increasing to the point where this summer, there was a whole lot less kids who wanted to come down to the park, which I'm very sorry to say, because they would just be harassed and stuff. But it's necessarily not Lakewood either. There are Lakewood kids, and we gotta deal with them, that they're angrier for whatever reason. I don't wanna point any fingers at anybody, I'm just saying, it's a fact. You start increasing all that population, and of course, we're working with, in our master plan, this area right here, section 6, Dalton Township, is pretty much almost complete, undeveloped. It's undeveloped right now. But if it were developed, see where a fourth suddenly becomes 4 times, that's a whole lot more people. I can't imagine Lakewood 4 times bigger than it is, and us still be able to handle our roads. I mean, we're it's very expensive for us, because we handle our own roads, which is really nice. We've got really good roads, and we're really pleased with them. But it's a lot of work and a lot of expense, and some people can really tear them off. The more people you get, the more problems you get, which I'm sure you guys just,
We're looking
Well,
at,
where
we're
that-
looking at maybe a passive park in that area as well.
You know, the park option, we had some land at one time, next to the, I think it's next to Eagle Field or whatever that is over there, that had been offered to the township, but then the price of it started to, they brought that up after the fact, that they would like additional monies. And they had plans originally, we had talked, I think in that master plan about what we would do with it, possibly was like a Frisbee park or a small stage, or, there'd be other things. With a trail going right by that, it made a lot of sense. And we started making some plans for what you could do for that, and then where you get the funds for it and some other things. And that was a number of years ago. It was before Jeff was in position, and it just never got any traction, because again, they started looking for the money, and it's just hard to find. And Meyer stepped up and did the trail, which helped, but trying to get things for parks, that's tough. And even connecting with Michigan Adventure right there, or even having, a lot of things that, I don't know, we really haven't found any interest in that, at least from our last survey. It could change on this one. This could be, again, one of our wake-ups, but we've seen, pretty strong growth in Dalton Township every year.
have you?
And
Okay.
and that's one of the things that's been an ongoing, is they keep looking at it every time we've done this. It's, near the double-digit number of homes, and that's even after we took and went from, in our recreational area, went from 2.5 acre lots to 5 acre. And we still are seeing the growth, so you have to have twice as much land as you did before. What we built on 2.5, 22 years ago, now you need, right next door, you had to buy 5.
Okay.
So it's one way, we try to make it so we don't get too much in one area, but
Yeah.
there's really not a lot you can do.
Right.
We want as many people here as the area can sustain, and we have a lot of areas here too, lots of trees and things in there. One thing about, we have areas clear cut, and there's trees there now that they come back just as vital as they were before, but it does take time.
Since you seem to be you guys are so friendly, it's wonderful. Maybe I could ask you, because I don't know, how do you, as a planning commission, or as a municipality, how do you stop clear cutting? Is there any way to stop that? I mean, a developer comes in, he's got, one of those blocks, he owns the whole thing, clear cuts the whole thing, puts up his 2 homes, and then the designer trees. it really hurts the ecosystem. But he's legal, you know what I mean? He's legal, he's got this, you know, at this point, our ordinance says you gotta have 4 trees per building site, which would be 2,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet. You have to have 4 trees. Well, we could change that and say 45 trees, I don't know. But I don't know how you can stop clear cutting, and I'm wondering how you guys do it, or you don't.
We don't have
I don't
any,
think we have anything that addresses
we
it.
don't have anything specifically for residential properties.
Okay.
For commercial, that's a little more,
Because
a
you have to
little
do
more
a
of a
site
gray
plan.
area because of site plan review and screening.
So you haven't had any developer come in and simply want to clear cut, so you can just put up his homes quickly? You haven't had that? How come we got it?
Yeah, I mean, we have multiple little subdivisions
It might be
that
because we
are
have,
just like that.
we're so spread out. We have
Oh,
most places in the township either have 5-acre requirement or a 1-acre requirement if they're not on public sewer.
so being as tiny as we are and concentrated as we are, it's a different sort of.
It might be a different
Okay,
situation.
okay, thank you.
I noticed on your medium density around Lakewood, you're saying there's a ½ acre per dwelling.
Yes,
in
in the
that
RM
area,
district.
and we don't have water and sewer.
Yes, and the RM district is different than the other residentials.
Well, you know, one thing I'd like to comment on though too is, if you go down our main road is Kenwood. If you cross over into Dalton Township on Kenwood, and there's a whole lot of trailers and manufactured homes right there. The yards are wonderful. I don't mean clean, I mean there's a lot of trees back there. They're all nicely tucked in, and I'm going, how'd you guys do it? Because it looks really nice. It does. It looks healthy, it looks quiet, it looks, you know, trees are always better for people's health. Lots of trees, people, there's no clear cutting back there at all. And they're all nestled in there nicely. And they don't look too close. I'm impressed, I'm going, I'd like to know how you did it.
I think people are like my wife, after we had a tree cut down because it was on our roof.
Oop.
We cut it down, she immediately went out and got a maple tree and wanted it put right where that tree was.
Oh.
So I was like, well, I love you, so I'll put it up. And we did that, and over time, we started, we're gonna have that same conversation down the road, and then she'd say, well, let's put flowers there, and I was, see that, but I think they generally replace, but there's not a lot of issues with that, as far as.
No, it's
sticking out,
really,
yeah.
it's beautiful. They simply clear out a little land, they put up either the manufactured home or they put up a trailer. And they left all the trees and I'm going, that is exactly what I would love to see.
I was gonna
Yeah.
suggest that, on Holton Road or 120, we have a Michigan Forestry office. And there are experts there or accessible to the staff there that you might invite to one of your meetings. That, because I know they're big on native, replanting of native plants, bushes, trees, etc. They sell them at a very reduced price, you know, so anyway, there's a wealth of information right here.
Do you mean the conservation district?
Yeah,
Oh, we're really.
but it's
we're all
it's actually a
over there.
forestry office,
That's
but
what I would talk to you about that, yes, thank you.
yeah, you know, with respect to clear cutting, sometimes there's a benefit to it. You know, I'm not an expert, but
Sure.
I don't think people just wipe it clear just because they want it, you know, white clear.
Oh, some do, for sure.
It's way
Yeah.
easier.
It's, right, and this section along the southern side of Lakewood, I mean, I would theorize that was not a result of policy. I guess it's choice. Do you have,
Most of that is township owned.
Right.
I don't even know.
well,
if
but where
that's-
the houses have gone in?
That's not, I don't think it's necessarily by choice, I think it has to do with economics. It's
Yes.
expensive to bring all those trees down, and if you can bring out
Well, that's what
just
I
a
mean.
few to be able to get your home in there,
Right.
good enough.
I would classify that under,
Okay.
under a choice of like, I'm not spending money on chopping these trees down.
Everybody can find a logger to take advantage of that. I mean, isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna find that a lot of this, not a lot, but a certain percentage of our forest is gonna be wiped out anyway. They've been so badly damaged by the gypsy moths that, but there, you know, I would hesitate to, you know, just say, you know, clear cutting is something we don't allow or whatever until maybe an engineer, a water expert, the forestry group, you know, can provide some input on what's the best way to handle, you know, your property concerns.
Okay.
I'll bring up one last thing that I was thinking of. When I asked about the vandalism in the parks and like when does that happen, I get the joy of working in public education. For a while there was this big craze about the deviant licks. And deviant lick was a, you're laughing because I think you know this, right? Do you guys already know this?
I know what the two words mean, but I don't know what they mean together.
Oh, TikTok. You gotta get on TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok. I'm trying to keep up. I'm not on TikTok.
So they would do a deviant lick, and it was a big deal with high school kids to go in and do a deviant lick, and it was to destroy a piece of a bathroom and potentially vandalize it or steal the soap dispenser, and you had to.
It's something about this fetish with bathrooms.
Yeah.
Everything
That's
else in
what it
Lakewood
is,
is left
yeah.
alone, it's just a bathroom.
I run a Dollar Tree store over on Henry Street,
Uh-huh.
and I've had 3 of the hand dryers taken out, and no one saw it happen. Literally, someone went in, got done, and then literally, I'd just been in there to clean it not moments before, and we were trying to figure out, who the heck does that? And that's what my daughter said. There's actually a thing going around that can make that happen. And,
Yeah, social media, that's.
so,
Deviant licks.
Yeah.
There used to be for high school, it was
We
sent
need
out.
some more lips.
We've been
Humans might not survive social media.
Amen.
The nuclear scare was much compared to social media.
So with that said, one of the things that I'm pretty passionate about is called project-based learning, and we empower students to figure that problem out. Like, why is this happening, and what do you guys want to do to help solve this problem? Because as adults, we can sit around and come up with ideas, but we're not kids and we don't think like kids. So in time, or whenever it works out, I would love to potentially partner with you and help you guys find some students that maybe are interested in coming over and looking at the problem and the situation and going, okay, as kids, this is what we recommend you do to help alleviate this
That's
issue.
very cool.
That might be a great
That's
connection.
neat.
And they get to learn about what is the planning commission and why do you guys
Oh,
care,
yeah.
and how does the township work? And so it's actually a government class and they're figuring out all about government, figuring
No,
out
it's
this
true.
whole idea.
We've had students come and say, we're just here to observe because it's part of our government class.
What a
Yeah.
lousy, I don't want to say lousy, but what an interesting way to learn about government, to have to come sit and listen to a bunch of people talk. Rather, let's get you figuring out how to stop deviant licks from happening within the park.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
let's partner at some point, but before you leave today, I want to make sure I get email from
Thank
you
you.
and
Okay.
see if we can do something.
Thank you, Nick.
anyone else have anything? Our favorite motion of the night?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, ended at 6:22.
It has been, I have one more weekend to get through.
What's the history of this thing? Like,
I am
what did you have?
Take care.
Yeah.
It rings a bell now, because I heard there was a thing about